Okay, so this is the sketch I did for the seat, and it's a rough approximation of what I'm looking for. The cushions are going to be about that thick, probably similar to this. This is not the actual cushion, but it's something I had very similar to what I'm trying to achieve here. Yeah, I think I'm going to remain with the blue on the outside. So the blue will be on the outside and the yellow will be on the inside. So it'll kind of look something like that. The center pattern will have this flow, and I think it's going to look okay. Typically it takes me three tries, you know, to a couple prototypes, and then by the third one I'm done. I mean, it's finished. I can sit here all day and start measuring and try to be exact here, but I like working freestyle, which means that you know, I like coming up with a basic pattern. I mean, I already have all the measurements from the seat, and I have the pattern from this, so it's just a matter of cutting the foamy parts out of this shape here, and just doing the pattern, you know, on a large sheet of materials, and cutting the final pattern that's going to be sewn in two halves, almost like a pillowcase. So that'll be done. The other thing that's got to be done here is I need to come back here and sew, and that's going to be a little bit tricky sewing this thick of material. Unless you have the right tool to sew this thick of material, you know, it's a little tricky sewing it on a regular sewing machine. Okay, so I'm working on the seats right now, the cushions for the seats. I created some patterns, and that's what these are here. One is the back, and the other one's for the front, and also has the geometry for the intersection, which is in yellow here. So I'm just going over the yellow edges to create a trim line. Okay, so that's the first part of the sewing. The next step is going to be the perimeter of the seat, and then we're going to fold this in half, so I have to kind of put a line right through to create a crease. So there's the cushion. Let's see how it looks on the model. This is the cushion on the seat, and I need to do the second one for the rear. So we'll get to that, and I'll come back to this video. Okay, so I have started on the cushions for the seats, and as I was showing in the previous video, you know, I started with the drawing. Just to recap, just a sketch, and then I wanted to achieve a two-color blend in the same colors of the wing. These are some previous cushions that I did for the Quicksilver Ultralight. These are a little bit thinner though, but I wanted to get a little more three-dimensional look on the seats that are going to go on this Tanarg. This Tanarg is a little bit bigger model, and it needs, you know, a little more three-dimensionality to it, not only in the mechanical parts but also in these little details that I'm putting on the seats and body control panel, etc., etc. I had to generate a couple patterns for the seats. These are the patterns that I generated. I had to basically do this on the computer and then run this on the CNC machine. And this is fiberglass, and it's fiberglass because I use these patterns to trace out with a hot knife the materials that I cut to do the sleeves, so to speak, and also to do the foamy parts. So this is actually the seat pattern that helps me to establish not only the foamy part, but also it allows me to trace out the outline on the actual material where I need to sew so that it's a nice glove fit, precise finish on the part once it's done and sewn. So basically this is one of the seats. This other part right here, it's got the pattern for the inside of the different material. so it becomes a two-color pattern, and this is basically what you're looking at here. I mean, this was just a kind of a real quick first mock-up. It's a real nice mock-up. I mean, I can still use this if I wanted to, but I'm looking for something, like I said, with a little more three-dimensionality, a little more realism. And so this is the cushion that I came up with. I'm about to cut some new parts, and I'll be assembling those, and I'll come back to this video and you can see the final result. Like I said in my previous videos, it takes me about three times. The first prototype is done just to get a feel for that, and that's what this is. The second one is kind of a refinement to get a better perspective and fit and look. And then from here, from the second one, I'll go to my third one, which is the final one. So that's how these things get done. Now the rear seat, I already have the foam part already cut out. Now this one here is going to be a little bit different than this one here, because the rear seat on the real Tanarg has an extra cushion here for the headrest as a separate piece. But I'm not going to do a separate piece here because I want this to flow as a one piece, and it's a lot simpler to do it as a one piece than having a little piece here sticking out, and then I have to brace this with clips, and it becomes a little more unnecessarily more work and more cumbersome, and just another part that I have to do. So I'm going to simplify that, and this is like I said before also, this is where I like to throw in my own creativity, and I like to tweak things to something a little bit better. So I think this is much better as a one piece here. It just flows right through the back of the seat, and I don't need to brace this. Once the seat is done, it'll be high enough that it'll retain itself once the back is attached here to the seat, as I did this one here. So it'll be kind of like that, and it'll look really, really cool. Okay, this seat actually reminds me of the 8-foot wing that I did back in the 80s. I'll post a picture in this video of that seat. Unfortunately, I sold that model a long time ago. I wish I would have kept it. But this seat is kind of done in the same fashion that I did the one back then, except that I made that seat out of sections of plywood, and I covered that seat with leather. Actually, I had leather and little tiny screws on the side just to give it a more dimension. But this seat, just brought back memories, because I basically was the same kind of thing, just a one piece, kind of curved like that. I actually used on that seat cotton, to make the fluffy parts. It's a little more elaborate than just using foam, but that's what I had back in the day. I didn't have this foam, and I don't think this foam was readily available back in the 80s when I did that. I just thought I'd mention that because it's interesting how these things tend to creep up, things that I've done before, and sometimes I have to think a little bit about that because it's been such a long time ago. But fortunately, my memory still holds water, so to speak, and I hope it does keep holding for a long time. Thanks to our great Lord. I give thanks every day for allowing me to do this type of work. Anyway, I'm going to be doing a little more cutting and sewing here, so I'll come back to this video. Stay tuned. So once again, this is Mario with me on Microlight. Stay tuned for more.